Reality, schmeality. Well said, Holly. Well said. It's Tuesday, Tuesday, Tuesday. The day that time forgot. More hair. The face makes less sense. This is the style of tomorrow. Welcome back to the treehouse. Up from the market, a left and a right turn. The hub of the business wheel, young radio's burn. I was there at the climax, just before it started to die. Rolled in the big trucks, watch the citizens point and cry. They're digging up the street where the steel drum band taught me how to love that sound. Don't they know that corner is sacred ground? Wedge-shaped buildings, slices of grandma's pie, Coca-Cola neon, and backed by a visible sky. All that's changing in the flash of a hard hat grin. They're gonna rip it up and build us some tall gray walls to hold all the people in. They're digging up the street where the shoe shine man taught us all how to look down. While we were checking our shoes, we were walking on sacred ground. Second floor cafe, plain glass balcony, fishbowl business ladies walking away from me. Transient blankets, they stagger the same crooked line. Adrenaline surging through me, time after time after time. They're digging up the street where the Mohawks meet, looking like the lost and found. Grinding their butts in the gutters of sacred ground. Sacred ground, na 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 na. Sterile invaders swallow another block. Sleepless survivors, they're forced to absorb the shock. Official position, it'll put more time in your day. But they dig up the soul and the spirit, load it up and cart it away. Yeah, they're digging up the street where the steel drum band taught me how to love that sound. Don't they know that corner is sacred ground? Don't they know that corner is sacred? Sacred ground, sacred ground, and now. I don't believe it, I don't know, take it down, the down, Betty way. Take it down, the down, Betty way. Take it. Good evening. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Let me speak a coherent sentence. How is everybody doing? Oh, please step around the. Hello.
This is not the best of messages.
Wait. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by regardless. Oh, you smell lovely. Not the best of messages? Guitar sounds weird. Jim says it sounds like it's going through a phaser. Is that like a phaser on overload? Is that like a Star Trek type phaser? So is it set on stun or is it set on what? What setting is it on? What setting is the phaser on?
I didn't know whether there might be something that was going on.
Yeah, there might be something that's going on here. What have I?
It was sounding good before.
What have I not done? Did it sound okay to you, Hand?
It
Sounded a little weird.
It sounded good when you were in the pink stage.
Oh, so the problem is that the pink stage is over. So what I should do is I should cover it with pink. But I could just cover it with pink. So what am I doing wrong here? I can tell you what the problem is right there. Now, Jim, I trust your ears implicitly. I'm sorry about the Star Trek reference. It was, I didn't mean anything by it. Nothing personal. I'm hoping that's better. I'm hoping that that's better. If it ain't, let me know. Okay? Let's see, what can I do? I'm afraid to try anything that's guitar-centric. You know, I play the guitar pretty much on every song, so the guitar isn't sounding good. Guitar by itself sounds rich, but vocal and guitar together. I wonder if Facebook optimizes one over the other. Well, I don't know, Marjorie.
Jim says it sounds way better.
I think I did the right thing. I had one of the settings I didn't have quite right. So
But there's quite a debate.
there's quite a debate going on. I see Marjorie is chiming in, and Marjorie, I appreciate your input. Nice pen, thank you. Thank you, Jim. I don't usually lean in this much. I don't like leaning in. So I think I'm gonna stay back here in my area. You know, I'm here on my mark, and we'll just let other people. They can continue the discussion without me. I'm gonna sit here and try and do something extremely difficult. That's always a good idea. I think, you know, something extremely difficult. Breaking silences and raising up the shades. Love's begun to float, but it doesn't drift away. Letting the ego slip and letting the slip show. What magic tears it open, you can never know. You're grateful for the energy, the constancy, the healing course. To the 1 in 3, the Trinity, or just nature's sudden force. You're grateful. Talking to yourself is how it must begin. Until the shell is cracked, there's no light coming in. And when the rooms are lit, there's pictures on the walls. They speak a million tales, but they don't tell it all. So you're grateful for the pen in hand, the music stand, the swollen page. For the graying strands, the grains of sand, the sight that comes with age. You're grateful. And I know why you come here again and again and again. It's to outrun your one fear, and the voice that's shouting silence in your ear cannot find you here. breaking silences and raising up the shades. Love's begun to float, but it doesn't drift away. How's it sounding now, folks? Let me get an idea. Hi, Pamela. DJ Cope. Okay, is the guitar sounding better? I can't tell. But anyway, let's set it aside for a moment, shall we? We'll be back. Tonight's poet, Philip Ravine. Now, I was going to do Philip Ravine last week, but I lost my nerve because I was going to read They Feed They Lion. And I suddenly felt like They Feed They Lion was all wrong. It was too on the nose. It was so on the nose, it was in the nose. It was of the nose. This week, I want to read They Feed They Lion because it is on the nose. And it's it's a piece of I first heard this poem was read by Phil Eaton, who was my college advisor in the English department at Whitworth College. He went on to be the president of Seattle Pacific University for many years. Philip Eaton. He read this poem, and Phil's a very gentle man. He also introduced me to, Gary Snyder and William Stafford and all this wonderful poetry. When he read They Feed They Lion, it was shocking. My first response was, how did he do that? How did Philip Ravine do that? I didn't want to know what the poem was about. Philip Ravine loved to tell a story when he was about to read They Feed They Lion of his friend Henry Collette, a poet in Los Angeles, who used to teach this poem, and he would read it for his class, and the people would raise their hands and say, what's it about? What's it mean? And he would say, shut up, just listen to it. Just listen to it. So I should probably just shut up and let you listen to it. But it was written when Philip Ravine was like the poet laureate of Detroit, old Detroit, industrial Detroit, Motor City Detroit. That's where he grew up. And he wrote about Detroit for most of his life, even though he left there when he was in his 20s, after working for, a bunch of different jobs in the auto industry. And Detroit at that time was a very gritty, dirty, industrial, smoky, sooty city. And he went back there in 1968 after the riots of 67 that burned parts of the city. Detroit looked a lot like Minneapolis has looked. This was 1967. And Philip Ravine went back and realized that he was the enemy because he was white, he was middle class, and he had just that little measure of smugness that said, I'm not part of the problem. And I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it seems like that's kind of what I've been saying to myself too for a long time. I was talking about this last week, and that I think a lot of people are waking up to that and realizing that not being part of the problem, if that's where you're sitting, then you are part of the problem, because I think the times call for more than just not being a part of the problem. We need to be an active part of the solution. And I think that's kind of what Philip Ravine was realizing when he went back to Detroit. So I had no idea what this poem was about the first time I heard it. All I knew was that it knocked my teeth in. It was a very powerful set of words. It was just like, it was just this. But it just, what the effect it had on me, I was like, it goes like this. They feed, they lion. It's they feed, they lion. Out of burlap sacks, out of bearing butter, out of black bean and wet slate bread, out of the acids of rage, the candor of tar, out of creosote, gasoline, drive shafts, wooden dollies, they lie and grow. Out of the gray hills of industrial barns, out of rain, out of bus ride, West Virginia to kiss my ass, out of buried aunties, mothers hardening like pounded stumps, out of the bones need to sharpen and the muscles to stretch, they lie and grow. Earth is eating trees, fence posts, gutted cars. Earth is calling in her little ones. Come home, from pig balls, from the ferocity of pig driven to holiness. From the furred ear and the full jowl come the repose of the hung belly. From the purpose they lie and grow. From the sweet glues of the trotters come the sweet kinks of the fist. From the full flower of the hams, the thorax of caves. From bow down come rise up, come they lion from the reeds of shovels. The grained arm that pulls the hands, they lion grow. From my 5 arms and all my hands, from all my white sins forgiven they feed. From my car passing under the stars they lion. From my children inherit. From the oak turned to a wall they lion. From they sack and they belly opened, and all that was hidden burning on the oil-stained earth, they feed they lion, and he comes. So I needed to read that, or you probably would never see me again. That was one of the most powerful pieces of language of my life. And I don't know if it affects other people that way or not, but it sure affected me. I wanted to do Philip Lavine, and I chickened out last week because I was afraid to read that poem. Tim Swiger gave me this cup. Has Roland called yet? Okay. This is his book, What Work Is. It won the National Book Award, right? Yeah, in 1991. I'm going to read the title poem, What Work Is. We stand in the rain in a long line, waiting at Ford Highland Park for work. You know what work is. If you're old enough to read this, you know what work is, although you may not do it. Forget you. This is about waiting, shifting from one foot to another, feeling the light rain falling like mist into your hair, blurring your vision until you think you see your brother ahead of you, maybe 10 places. You rub your glasses with your fingers, and of course it's someone else's brother, narrower across the shoulders than yours, but with the same slouch, the grin that does not hide the stubbornness, the sad refusal to give in to rain, to the hours wasted waiting, to the knowledge that somewhere ahead a man is waiting who will say, "No, we're not hiring today," for any reason he wants. You love your brother. Now suddenly you can hardly stand the love flooding you for your brother, who's not beside you or behind you or ahead, because he's home trying to sleep off a miserable night shift at Cadillac so he can get up before noon to study his German, works 8 hours a night so he can sing Wagner, the opera you hate most, the worst music ever invented. How long has it been since you told him you loved him, held his wide shoulders, opened your eyes wide and said those words, and maybe kissed his cheek? You've never done something so simple, so obvious. Not because you're too young or too dumb, not because you're jealous or even mean or incapable of crying in the presence of another man. No, just because you don't know what work is. Okay. All right. Philip Lavine. He's an amazing poet. He was the poet laureate of the United States here. Oh, I can't remember. In this century. He passed away a couple of years ago. So, tonight's selections are difficult. But I'm going to do them anyway. I decided that tonight I should just own the difficulty. My wife keeps reminding me that we're all of us are pretty close to an emotional edge that we've probably never seen before. We don't know what's over there. This is called the Blue Spruce Motel. This is off of my new album, Night Sky. I've never performed this song in public, though it's one of the older songs on the album. It was written, 2010, 2011, around in there, in the month of July. And it was written in the Blue Spruce Motel in Twisp, Washington, when I had driven over to visit my children, who both were in Twisp. Alice was doing an internship that summer at the Schaefer Museum in Winthrop. James was still living in Twisp with his mom. And I had moved over here in 2009 to marry and be with the love of my life, Diane, the hand, the hand. And it was hard. This is kind of like my empty nest poem. This was kind of like that separation song. One of the necessary songs. Motel coffee in a styrofoam cup. Laid down real late, gotta get up. Visiting the children, the old man's back. Ashes on the asphalt of a two-lane track. Singing remember me. Friends are scattered between these hills. Mountain heat waves, rivers chills. Cool that forehead, stretch that back. Time is precious, time we lack. Singing remember me. Motel coffee clears my head. Better than a bar room or a motel bed. Bedside Bible in an empty drawer. Lay my clean shirts on the motel floor. Little bitty Jesus in a little bitty room. A little bit lonely, gotta head back soon. Take a boy to breakfast, take a girl to lunch. Hello, goodbye, and feel that punch. Singing singing, please remember me. Talk about tender, talk about tough. Talk about money, how there's never enough. Those 20 fingers, those 20 toes, got their own directions, gotta let them go. Their own directions, gotta let them go. Singing remember me. Singing please remember me. Singing please remember me. One of the necessary songs. Ray Rob Bubberson happens to be out there. How we doing? I'm sorry. I'm just, no, I'm not sorry. I'm Bill. This one's called Wildlife. You arrived in 74, so disillusioned. You fought your little private war, all in seclusion. By the light of an August moon, through a cabin window, you finally escaped yourself and felt the wind blow through. Welcome to the wildlife. Welcome to the wildlife. Never could refine it well, that transformation. There was a coyote out there and an invitation to let a big shot come out, clean off all the gun grease, those frayed and dusty ropes, followed by the pops of peace. Welcome to the wildlife. Welcome. Welcome to the wildlife. Some things will just spring right up, some need to be planted, some roots they go down so deep we take them for granted. We thought that we knew you well, thought we had you pegged, so imagine our surprise when you started to do-si-do. Became a ladies' man, stayed up for the last call, started calling you Dapper Dan down at the dance hall. Your eyes had a glow so bright, no one would dare to guess they could find a wildlife in the middle of such a mess. Welcome to the wildlife. Welcome. Welcome to the wildlife. I may try that one again in another week or two after I've gotten my guitar into tune. Okay. Keep taking risks, Bill. Okay. If you say so, Bill. I want to sing an old folk song. This is a song that my dad used to sing when I was a kid. And I used to beg my dad to sing this song because it made me cry. It made me cry every time. It was another one of those moments where I was like, how does that do that? Why is it that every time these words, this tune passes by me, I cry? How do they do that? So, I just remember my dad singing this song and me crying. I didn't know that much about the song, so I gargled it. Although Springtown, Tennessee has a small monument outside an old mill claiming the song was written by a local George Johnson in 1864 for his Maggie. The truth is that its lyrics were written as a poem by the Canadian school teacher George Washington Johnson from Hamilton, Ontario. Margaret Maggie Clark was his pupil. They fell in love, and during a period of illness, George walked to the edge of the Niagara Escarpment, overlooking what is now downtown Hamilton, and composed the poem. They were married in 1864, but Maggie's health deteriorated and she died on May 12, 1865. The poem was published in a collection of poems called Maple Leaves, published in 1864. James Austin Butterfield set the poem to music, and it became popular all over the world. George Washington Johnson died in 1917. In 2005, the song was inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. All I knew was it was the song that my dad sang. I wandered today to the hill, Maggie, to watch the scene below. The creek and the old rusty mill, Maggie, where we sat in the long, long ago. The green grove is gone from the hill, Maggie, where first the daisies sprung. The old rusty mill is still, Maggie, since you and I were young. A city so silent and lone, Maggie, where the young and the gay and the best in polished white mansions of stone, Maggie, have each found a place of rest. It's built where the birds used to play, Maggie, and join in the songs that were sung. For we sang just as gay as they, Maggie, when you and I were young. But now we are aged and gray, Maggie, the trials of life nearly done. Let us sing of the days that are gone, Maggie, when you and I were young. They say that I'm feeble with age, Maggie, my steps are less sprightly than then. My face is a well-written page, Maggie, but time alone was the pen. They say we are aged and gray, Maggie, as spray on the white breakers flung. But to me you're as fair as you were, Maggie, when you and I were young. And now we are aged and gray, Maggie, the trials of life nearly done. Let us sing of the days that are gone, Maggie, when you and I were young. Let us sing of the days that are gone, Maggie, when you and I were young. See, the part that always made me cry was the part of "Let's sing of the days that are gone," Maggie. So I didn't cry on that part once. It was all the rest of it. It's all the rest of it. The hand.
Special message for you.
Why, thank you. The hand. Thank you, Rhonda. She says, you should embrace the difficult. It looks good on you. Okay, well, I'm glad you think so. That makes one of us that believes that. So, how about some more Philip Ravine? How about it? Where are we at time-wise? Perfect. Oh, goodness. Goodness. How many of us, let's get a show of hands here, how many of us are on the edge of wetness? Anybody? I feel that I'm on the edge of wetness. Okay. So how about something that's a little bit lighter from Philip Ravine? Because Philip Ravine had a great sense of humor. This one is called Monsieur Degas Teaches Art and Science at Durfee Intermediate School, Detroit, 1942. Now, Edgar Degas lived from 1834 to 1917, just FYI. The poem is Monsieur Degas Teaches Art and Science at Durfee Intermediate School, Detroit, 1942. He made a line on the blackboard, one bold stroke from right to left, diagonally downward, and stood back to ask, looking as always at no one in particular, "What have I done?" From the back of the room, Freddie shouted, "You've broken a piece of chalk." Monsieur Degas did not smile. "What have I done?" he repeated. The most intellectual students looked down to study their desks, except for Gertrude Bimler, who raised her hand before she spoke. "Monsieur Degas, you have created the hypotenuse of an isosceles triangle." Degas mused. Everyone knew that Gertrude could not be incorrect. "It is possible," Louis Warshawski added precisely, "that you have begun to represent the roof of a barn." I remembered that it was exactly 20 minutes past 11, and I thought at worst this could go on another 40 minutes. It was early April. The snow had all but melted on the playgrounds. The elms and maples bordering the cracked walks shivered in new winds, and I believed that before I knew it, I'd be swaggering to the candy store for a Milky Way. Monsieur Degas pursed his lips, and the room stilled until the long hand of the clock moved to 21, as though in complicity with Gertrude, who added confidently, "You have begun to separate the dark from the dark." I looked back for help, but now the trees bucked and quaked, and I knew this could go on forever. Love that poem. Love that poem. Okay. I wanted to make sure and read this one because this may be one of the most amazing love poems I have ever read in my life. I don't know why I showed you that. It just felt like the right thing to do. This is from his book, The Simple Truth. The Simple Truth, which won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry, by the way, in 1995. Little small achievement, one among many. Mr. Ravine, he wrote for a long time and he wrote very well. This is called In the Dark. In the last light of a summer day facing the Canadian shore, we watched from the island as night sifted into the river, blackening the still surface. An oar boat passed soundlessly, trailing a tiny wake that folded in upon itself with a sigh, unless that sigh was hers or mine. In the darkness, it's hard to tell who is listening and who is speaking. St. Augustine claimed we made love in the dark, though he did not write made love, because we were ashamed to do it in the sight of anything, although I suppose God could see in the dark, having at least as good eyesight as a cat. Our cat Nellie used to like to watch my wife and me at love, but she was not a creature who generalized, and of all things she liked best a happy household. God loves a happy giver, I read in the Abyssinian chapel on top of the Holy Sepulchre, which suggests the old saint had no idea what he was talking about, but in the darkness it's not easy to tell who is talking and who listening, who giving, who taking, who praying, who cursing. Even then, watching from the island, I thought that making love was a form of prayer. You got down on your knees, if you were a boy, and prepared yourself for whatever the future held in store, and no matter how firm your plans, without the power of another power, you were lost. It's so dark back then, I can't tell what I'm thinking, although I haven't placed my hand on Millie's shoulder for nothing. Nor have I turned my face toward Millie's, merely to catch a reflection of the darkness in her wide hazel eyes, cat eyes, I called them then. Millie sighs. The oarboat passes silently to disappear into a future that's still mysterious. I take a breath, the deepest breath of my life. And knowing the generations of stars are watching from above, I go down on my knees in prayer. Okay. All right. Okay. Joan's here. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Keep doing the stuff I said I was gonna do. Sorry, I know I'm I don't know what the hell I know. I don't know anything. This is Joan. Joan and I have been getting reacquainted a little bit. This song is called Ravine. It's from an album called Lifelike. I wrote this song after listening to REM for hours and hours and hours, a particular album of theirs, New Adventures in Hi-Fi, which came out shortly after Kurt Cobain took his life. We were in Seattle. It was our world back there in the 90s. It impacted everybody. That's all I know about this song. It's called Ravine. He will learn how to compromise. He will grieve his ideals. Tip a glass to the memory, and he'll know. And he'll know that what took his sister's life just last July was as casual as breathing is to you and I, and that accidental angels get their wings going off the road and into a ravine. enough for me. We're in love, and that's the gravy. Tip a glass to solidity, and I know, and I know that his picture still hangs somewhere in your mind, and that suitcase in the closet is still undefined, and that time and feeling steer toward the mysteries, going off the road and into a ravine. He will learn how to compromise. He will grieve his ideals. Tip a glass to the memory. And he'll know, and he'll know that what took his sister's life just last July was as casual as breathing is to you and I, and that accidental angels get their wings going off the road into a ravine. Off the road. Thank you, Joan. Yeah. These are songs I've not played with any regularity for many, 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 many years. Okay, got one more to do for you. I'll do more, but I want to do this last one of the difficult ones. God, maybe I should do something else first. Why don't you do something else first, Bill? Something you like. How about the one that Adam wanted to hear? I don't know if Adam's out there. Adam Hunt? I don't know. Tim, roust him if he's not there. Actually, I'm not sure if Adam requested this or not. I can't remember if it was last week. I think it was last week. He said, sing us a song, Bill. Now, what he might have been doing, he should have been wearing the t-shirt that says, shut up and sing the song. Maybe that's what Adam was saying. Shut up and sing the song. But I decided to think that he's actually requesting a song called Request. So I'll shut up and do that one. Write us a song, Bill, and invite the mysteries of love and language, of art and honesty. We know they're in there, but just itching to get free. So write us a song, Bill, and invite the mysteries. Write us a song, Bill. Isn't that what you do? There's a lonesome guitar sitting right next to you. He's good for a few words, maybe a melody or two. So write us a song, Bill. Isn't that what you do? Write us a song, Bill, like you did when we were young, back when the best words were waiting to be sung, back when the people weren't feeling so outgunned. Well, write us a song, Bill, like you did when we were young. Write us a song, Bill, an upbeat little tune that'll stick to the eardrums as we move from room to room. Sweet inspiration, it cannot come too soon. So write us a song, Bill, an upbeat little tune. Write us a song, Bill. How hard can it be? Just use your brain, son, and your bachelor's degree. What was it good for? Can you explain that to me? Explain it in a song, Bill. How hard can it be? Write us a song, Bill. We're running out of sun. This party's dying. We need to start another one. We need to strategize on what is to be done. So write us a song, Bill. We're running out of sun. Well, you wrote us a song, Bill. Thank the mysteries of love and language and generosity. We knew you were in there, but just itching to get free. You wrote us a song, Bill. Thank the mysteries, thank the mysteries, thank the mysteries. There you go, Bill. A happier song. I like those songs where I can smile while I'm singing them. Yeah. I don't like the ones where I'm gonna be like this. Those are good too, I guess. So, the song is called Father to Father Number 2. Also from an album called Lifelike. Also one that I have not played in many years. Luckily, this one's fairly easy. So, it stars Alice. And also stars my dad. Wait a minute. This is the Tim Swagger Memorial Tuning. I tune for Tim because Tim loves tuning. Tim has probably left the room by now. Usually if it's more than, 8 or 9 seconds, Tim leaves the room. He says, "Oh, he's tuning! Ah!" He runs. I think that might be close enough for Tim. I wrote this down 'cause I said I would. Still doesn't fit that you're gone for good, and there's a couple of strange developments I knew you'd want to know. It snowed this year like in '91, But winter chores are left undone as Sue and I, we fill our time with the little one. You follow me as I follow you, and I wish you could tell me what to do so I could think before I ignored you. Yes, she'll be 2 in a couple weeks, all fiery eyes and flowery cheeks, and she's turned me into someone else who I remember well. We're all children here inside this skin, still treat it like it's a mortal sin, and mortality's the truth, all right. And what a way to go. You follow me as I follow you, and I wish you could tell me what to do so I could think before I ignored you. You follow me as I follow you, I wish you could tell me what to do so I could think before I ignored you. Father to Father, number 2. I think I was learning at that point in my life that when you lose your parents, they don't really go away. They're in you, you know? They stay in you. My dad's still here. He's actually right there, right above the camera lens. When I'm looking at you, I'm looking at my dad. Yeah. Well, that's all the songs I had planned for tonight. Perhaps I should do an unscheduled song. What do you think? An unscheduled song? I wish the hand wasn't like 30 seconds behind. I could ask her what she thinks I should play. Oh, man. There are so many. How about Night Sky? Whoopsie. So extra special thanks goes to everyone tonight. For your patience with me. I pushed myself a little. And I'll try some of these older songs again when I've relearned them a little better. In the meantime, here's a song for the hand, for Diane, with thanks to all of you. Let's see if I can remember how this goes. It's a new song, Bill. It's a recent song, Bill. Just a second here. Okay, I think I got this. Nope. Here we go. Here we go. This time for sure. Under the glittering pins of the night sky. Only one last little problem. Under the glittering pins of the night sky, walking alone on a path we have memorized. They say getting older is not for the meek. We can testify, fooled into thinking our demons would retreat. They're still standing by. Whatever's left of my time I will give to you. Promises made in the past never rang so true. Maybe our way will be testing and cold, maybe heavenly. One of us left with just memories to hold. Will you hold me? You will hold me. Under the visiting shade of the rising moon, breeze and a wind chime singing a sad tune. Silvery cloud like a glimpse of your hair. This is lyrical. Strands of our love spreading out on the night air like a miracle. Like a miracle. Under the glittering pins of the night sky. There you go, gang. It's the best I got. Hope everybody's doing okay, and check in with me. Remember, write to me in my email address if you want a CD. I'll send you one, okay? All right. Better at your house than in my garage, right? Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you, extra portions of patience for you tonight, and I appreciate it very much. And I'll try to be a little more rehearsed next week, okay? All right. Good night. Have a good week.